welcome. Welcome to Stretch and Relax. My name is Kristen. So here I am. This is my first video of the new year. My first practice video. I'll make some more this week. I wanted to make my first one for Stretch and Relax. My introduction to Stretch and Relax. Okay? So I want to do a little introduction and talk about what you might need when you take a Stretch and Relax class with me. And here's my setup in my living room. I enjoy trying to set up a little atmosphere here for myself and for you. So I got a good space. What about you? Have you found somewhere that you have enough space? That's all you need, enough space, because you can close your eyes when you're stretching. Enough space that you can move with me. Okay, so you're kind of checking in where you can use in your house or in your place. Sometimes it's outside. If the weather's okay, you can go on outside and do it. It's a little cold right now, though. Yes, and so what I'm going to do today is what's called the 7 steps to stretch and relax. All it is simply 7 ways of coming into the body from bottom to top, top to bottom, and 7 ways to stretch the body or move the body. Okay, so I use these in many classes, but this class I like to kind of teach them in order and give you a simple example of each of the 7. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. The things you need, the things you want to collect and start to have around you. Okay, one is, I always have a blanket, okay? And sometimes I use this blanket more, sometimes less. You might want this padding. What do you have? What are you working on? What are you stretching on? Do you have padding below your knees? Because every once in a while I definitely do love to come onto the knees for spine movement. Do you have enough padding so your knees are happy pressing down? Or wherever you are, what do you have to lay on an extra padding if you need? I love to have a pillow or thick blankets to sit up on. Okay, so you may not need this. You can decide, oh, I don't need that yet, but with time. I use a pillow to let my hips sit off the edge of it, and actually this little bit of lift takes my lower back into a place that's more comfortable. It takes my hips into a slightly tilted forward position. We tend to accidentally get a little curled spine sometimes with the chairs you might be sitting in, the cars you might be driving. And so the lift of the spine with a pillow is something I strongly suggest. And so I will talk about that more as I go. Okay, I will always be suggesting that lift. So I have the blanket, the pillow. One stretch today, and there'll be more as I go, we'll use a strap. So what do you have around the house that you can use as a strap? I have found my lovely scarf. I have a couple scarves that I use. And something like that. Maybe you have another idea. But I love my scarves. They kind of add a little joy into my stretching because I love the way they feel, the colors. So that is nice to bring something like that into your stretching. And then back here today, I have a stool or a chair. This is not something you may need, okay? Today I'm going to teach the standing wide stance forward bend, okay? So I'm going to bring the stool into it, my purple happy stool that I've had forever. When my daughter was a little girl, she used it more. My daughter is 13. And this will help in the wide stance forward bend, okay? If you do have more flexibility, you might find that you don't need it. I have pretty good flexibility and I still love using the stool. I still love being more lifted, extended spine, and touching down to a stool rather than the floor when I'm first stretching. Okay, so I want to show that today. So I have that nearby. That'll often be there. It's a good place to set the drink too. You have some water with you or some tea. So yeah, do you have everything you need? I'm ready to begin. What about you? Okay, so I'm going to introduce 7 ideas. So sitting comfortably. Okay, first, when I'm talking about seated, I want you to be in a seated posture right now where you can sit very tall. So cross-legged could be it, okay? Sometimes cross-legged is not comfortable for different reasons. Knee, tightness in the hips, blah, blah, blah. Lots of good, important reasons. I didn't mean to say blah, blah, blah. I often will uncross my legs because my knee will be bugging me right here, this little spot, too much. This one's bugging me too lately. But with warming up, it helps. And the legs might come out here, and this will help me to be more lifted. Because for the first movement part, I want our bodies to be lifted. Okay? You could also be in butterfly. So I don't think I said yet. Number 1 in the 7 steps is movement. Basically meaning warming up the body. Okay, there's a million ways all through the body. Every joint can be warmed up at any time, not just at the beginning of class. But right now I'm just kind of sampling a couple ideas of movement. Okay, I'll do more in another video, definitely. So setting yourself up comfortable, practicing the tall body. Movement is also the movement of your breath. So the fingers come out, reaching them long, relaxing the shoulders a little bit. Deep breath here. So we're going to move mostly into the upper body, into the shoulders right now. Turn your palms up and inhale up to the sky. You might hold your breath a moment at the top and then exhale, bring your arms down. So this one is called Sunrise. Thought that was a good name along the way, so I named it Sunrise. Inhale, reaching up to the sky. Hold your breath maybe a moment, it's up to you, and then exhale it down. We don't have to be right together with our breathing. Okay, maybe at first you're kind of following and copying what I do, but as you get more comfortable, make sure you follow your breath sequence. Inhale up, exhale down when your breath is ready. I'm going to do one more Sunrise. Inhale up. So the movement of the shoulders along with the movement of the breath. Okay. So now I want to open the chest and the back. So your hands come either to your shoulders or to your chest area. And you inhale, open up. And then exhale, curl forward. 2 more of those. Inhale, really expand through your front body. And then exhale, curl and open up through the back. 1 more of those. Inhale and exhale. And then allow your arms to relax down. So the movement now will come down into the waist a little bit as we do a side bend. So inhale again, reach up to the sky, and then exhale over to your right, or whatever side happened. Inhale up, exhale over to the second side. Inhale it up, and exhale it over. Inhale up, and exhale. So there's your side bend. I love those. I love to work with those a bit in lots of different ways. So now your hands come forward. Okay, forward of your body a little bit. We're going to do a twist. It's going to open the shoulder and into a twist. So a full circle on each side. Your right arm inhales up, exhale, twisting you back. And then it comes around. Second side. Inhale up, exhale. Good. Forward. 1 more time each side. Inhale and exhale. So you feel this movement come down your body a bit. It comes down into the waist and the lower back. Inhale and exhale. Good. And then forward. Perfect. I want to do 1 movement exercise, 1 warm-up that kind of comes down into the legs. I definitely have more to share with you another day. So I put my pillow aside for this one. And my hands are going to come back. So let me turn sideways so you can see what I'm talking about. They're like this. I turn my fingers forward. You may end up wanting to have your fingers in a different direction. You can play with that as you go. So notice my feet are about hip-width apart. It doesn't work as well if your feet are closer. Okay? This one's called the windshield wipers. All right? So you let it come to one side and the knee tips in. And then you lift it up. So you allow your legs to be your windshield wipers. If you feel any discomfort, any pain, you just don't go as far. You don't move into that spot that doesn't feel right. Okay, because this twists the lower back a bit. It comes into the knees, into the hips. See what you find. You can adjust it. You could also come to a butterfly stretch, which I'll teach very soon. Not next. Inhale up, exhale. Inhale and exhale. So breath connection is so sweet to bring in. Inhaling and exhaling with your movement. So even though I don't emphasize breath, you'll hear me talk about breath a lot throughout the class today. Inhale up, exhale over. One more time, inhale and exhale. So there's your windshield wipers. And sit around. So number one, movement, warming up the body. Number two, foundation. So foundation can be a few things, but with this, what I'm going to focus on today is foundation, the lower part of your body. The area that you want to keep strong. So this is a little bit of strength for the feet, the ankles, shins, and calves. A little bit of stretching and strength for the lower body, calves, shins, and the feet. Okay, so the first one is an interesting one. You might want the knee padding. So here's, I'm going to example and just have a little extra padding for the knees. And I'm going to turn my body sideways for you to see this better. Okay, so I'm going to tuck my toes like that. Okay, and I start to press back into the feet, stretching them out there. And you might be like, okay, that's good. So here's the challenge. You might gently see how it feels to sit back on your feet. Take a deep breath here. Now, I don't wish to make you unhappy, so if this deep stretch is starting to make you unhappy, ease off of it. It's also a fun one to see if you can push, because waking up your toes and your feet in this way can be really awesome. But no pressure. Anytime you want, ease off of this one, okay? I'm going to stay here a moment longer for the feet. Foundation. Good. So now I'm going to turn this one into what's called a kneeling balance. This is more strength for the feet, a little bit of flexibility too. And it's going to let us come up into standing. Okay, so if you have any issues in the knee that this does not feel good, please come out of it and come up in your own way. I've had that issue myself. Right now my knee is doing okay, and I want to show this one of balancing for a moment, and then using the feet to press yourself up to standing. Like so. Let me move back so I stay in the video, and I'll move my blanket out of the way. Awesome. So for the feet. So we're into foundation. I want to continue with the feet here. So I'm going to do a little strengthening flexibility exercises, about 2 or 3 of them. So the first one is called the roll through. So if you look down to your feet, you want to try your best to lift your toes up and try your best to spread them apart briefly. And then lift your heels. So I drop the toes and lift the heels. So it's a movement like this. Heels, toes to heels is what I'm trying to say. Toes to heels. Good. So this really sweet basic move of rolling through the foot has been very helpful for me for strengthening and adding flexibility into my feet and my ankles. And when the lower body, the foundation of your body, is more flexible and strong, it does a better job at supporting everything that's above it. Does that make sense how that can work so well? So I strongly suggest that you have this awareness into the feet, ankles, shins, and calves. Okay, next idea is to have the feet a little wider and to rock it out like so, and then to roll it in. So this one's called the rock and roll, where you rock it out, and you're going to find one direction that's really hard. My inner one used to be harder. But with time and with practice, like anything in the body, you can change that. And when you have more balance in your feet and your ankles, again, it only helps everything above. So rock and roll. Cool. And then I'm going to step forward a little bit and cross one foot back. And I'm stretching the top of my foot. See what I'm doing? Just like that. This one can be like a little curtsy. Thank you so much for being here. It does not have to be a curtsy. It can just be the top of the foot stretch. Don't let me influence you with my weird ways. So the top of the foot, thank you. And take a moment there. Awesome. So now I want to use the foundation for some balance, and this will give us a chance to stretch the quadricep. Wonderful muscle, front of the thigh, da da da. So you're going to choose one foot that's going to be your strong foot on the ground, and then I'm going to lift this side, which would be your right leg if you're mirroring me, up into my hand. And so the foot on the floor. Okay, so let me put that down a moment. To help your balance, if you need, your eyesight goes down and focuses on a point that's not moving. So when you're ready, you get that focused eyesight, your deep breath, your patience, and your smile to slowly practice balance. Yeah, just be patient with it. If it's kind of tippy, just go with it and practice and smile through it. If your balance is not too hard, you've been with us for a while, you've balanced quite a bit, you can play with it by lifting your eyesight, by seeing if you can move around a little bit, you can counterbalance. Deep breath. Stretching the front of your thigh. How's your knee with this bend? If your knee is complaining too much, release it, please. Okay, so I'm going to put that down. Get ready for the second side. So the reason why this one is still foundation is because of that foot that's practicing balance on the floor. Very good way to strengthen the feet and the ankles. Okay, practicing balance, super essential. Okay, deep breath will help. Relaxed intention behind it. Okay, if your balance is tippy, do not let that frustrate you. Just smile and laugh and go with it. You know, fall over a moment, get back up. That's life, right? Patience. So foundation. Awesome. So now while we're standing, I'm going to do a little more. I don't do a lot of standing in stretch and relax, honestly. Okay, but I do a little bit in this first class. Okay. So now I'm going to reach out and grab my stool. And set that up. So the stool is helpful. And I'm having a blank of whether I introduced this in the beginning. Maybe I already did, I'm repeating myself. But for this class, you can have a stool or a chair, if you want to, in order to help with this forward bend. I love it. I'm pretty flexible. I can reach the floor with my forward bend, but this one helps me to have a long spine. Okay? So chair is awesome too. Okay, you can get your hamstrings, no problem. So I'm going for the wide stance, and I'm working on having my toes a little more forward, and the knees are slightly bent. Good? So I'm going to turn towards you at first, and I'm going to turn sideways to show you the spine. So inhale, up. Exhale, knees are gently bent. Come forward and down to your stool or your chair, and use that to lengthen your spine. Okay, so if you're still in that, you could probably peek up at me. I'm going to turn sideways. So the idea with your forward bend is that you want your spine to be long and not curled. Okay, so that's why you practice this lifted stretch, reaching forward and stretching down with that long spine. So the help of the knees, they might be more bent. It's totally okay. Okay, usually they talk about hamstring stretch, having very straight legs. Yes, I get that. But as you're learning it, as you're practicing for body safety, knees bent. Inhale, exhale. And so everybody might be practicing this in different ways. I'm not challenging you. This isn't a sport where we are having a competition. It's about checking in with your spine to see where you can have a long spine instead of a curled spine. Does that make sense? deep breath here. Good. So I'm having my knees bent. This helps my lower back a lot too, to bend my knees a little more. And then I press my way back up to standing. And then feet come together. Good. So I'm going to set that aside. And bring us all the way down. So we did movement, warm up, foundation, feet, lower legs, whatever's touching into the ground. There's more to the foundation. I'll get to that another time. Flexion, forward bending with a safe spine. Lots of ways to forward bend with a safe spine. Well, a few ways, not lots of ways. And then we're going into number 4, which is the spine. Bring your feet to butterfly. I'm talking too much. Let me take a breather. So this particular butterfly is for the spine. So your feet are not in close. I know you might have automatically gone for the inner thigh forward bend. I mean for the inner thigh, the feet close, inner thigh. What I want is for your feet to be further out. So you look down and you have a diamond between your legs. Okay. So with your feet further out, you can move your spine. Let me turn sideways so you can see. So right here, I'm going to hold on with my hands to my ankles and pull my body forward. Inhale, and then exhale, tuck, tuck, curl, curl. So moving the spine here. Inhale up, exhale, curl. 2 more of those. Inhale up, exhale, curl. Onto those ankles, I want to make sure at the end to pull my spine nice and lifted. There's so much I want to say about the spine, but I'm keeping it simple right now. Just really sweet movement of the spine. Okay. So the best way to move the spine is on hands and knees. Okay. So we're going to move to that. So if your knees need extra padding, you take a moment to take an extra blanket to pad your knees up. If you ever need another alternative, you stay with butterfly and move your spine there. So you come to a tabletop body, and this is for the cat and cow from yoga. So looking down at your fingers, you spread your fingers wide. Use your hands a little bit. Your knees are about hip-width apart. And you start to move your spine where you release it down, it rolls up, pulls the chest forward. Deep inhale here. And then your exhale will curl from the lower back, mid-spine, upper spine. So back and forth between these two. Inhale and exhale, tuck and curl. So relax, breathe, and move into this about 5 more times. Kind of lost count. What do you think? Will that do it? And then one more idea right now for the spine. I take my knees kind of wide and I fall back into what's called the child's pose. Okay, the arms can reach and your head might come down. Okay, so if you found a relaxing child's pose, stay there. If you're still not sure about it, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. Sometimes it does not happen where you comfortably come down. So it could be that you stack your hands. It might be that you use a pillow. Okay. Your knees could be wide. They could be close. I'm going to keep talking about it, so if you're still adjusting, look my way. Your hands can be closer to your body. So with a child's pose, it's about finding the best one for you. And then every once in a while, more than once in a while, I've been here, the child's pose is not a comfortable place. It could be the knees. Okay, that's where I have my issue sometimes. When this knee is hurting extra, I can't relax into child's pose. Could be the hips, could be the lower back. You could pick a total alternative. You could lift up out of the child's pose and choose something different. What I often do in a yoga class when I can't do the child's pose is I do it more lifted, and that works for my knee pressure. Okay, do not feel upset if you have any issues keeping you from the child's pose at the moment. Just breathe yourself into another space. Coming on up, I want to bring us into number 5, extension. It's called extension. So we have movement, foundation, flexion, forward bending, spine movement, lots to do in that area, and extension, getting the body long. Okay, this is about a lifted long body. Keeping it really sweet and simple today, I want to use the ground in order to lengthen our body. There's a lot of sweet stretches we can do here, but I'm going to keep it simple today, just using the floor to lengthen our body. Turn your head to one side, or you can stack the hands and turn your forehead straight down. But you want to relax here and just feel your breath, how it moves into the ground. And relax here in this very long, extended body. You might notice if you can gently memorize it, memorize the feel of it, and use this long body in other places. Idea to add on here for extension is a little back bend. So I came up to my forearms today, just the forearms at this moment, and I'm lifting up into a tiny back bend, using these forearms to try to pull my chest through. So I know you probably can't see that, but see if you can feel it, how you draw yourself through. Okay. And I have a lot more I want to teach with this one. I'll save that for another video though. Deep breath here. And then you take it and fold it back into your child's pose one more time. Stretching there, lengthening through the spine, lower back. And then moving your hands back and making your way up to seated. Okay. So we've done movement, foundation, flexion, spine, extension that we just did. So now I want to stretch the hips. I can teach a whole class on stretching the hips. I'll definitely have a good 20-minute video for you, but I'm going to choose just one today. And so it's one of my favorites. It's going to use the strap. So if you want to reach out and grab whatever you have. And I want to do the figure 4. Have you done the figure 4 before? But I'm going to use the scarf. So I'm going to have you cross one leg over. Okay, whichever leg. If you're mirroring me, I think I used your left leg. Whatever side feels best to do first. And then I take the scarf and I hook it onto this foot. You can end up using this, not using the scarf if you don't want to. Okay. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. Feel free to be any direction you want. Watch for a moment if this is new to you. Using the scarf, I can relax my shoulders and do my best to open up this leg, this hip. So it's this outer thigh up into that hip area. So this leg with a scarf could be straight. I know some people prefer that. It might bend. I like mine a little lower. Take a little time here. Deep breath into what you're doing. Always the deep breath. Always the breath. Awareness, breath, encouragement. Staying in this figure 4, I actually am going to move it around just a tiny bit, just a little bit today. Okay. And then I want to switch legs. So what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to take the leg out and use the scarf. This is good for the spine to roll and then switch sides. There is a way just to stay on your back and do it there, and that's fine. I wanted to add in a little extra, so now I'm switching legs and opening up this outer thigh down into the hip, into the glute, into the butt area. So when you're talking about the hips, definitely includes the glute muscles, the butt muscles too. Relaxing here, let your breath be slow. Then staying here with the 4, I'm going to move it around just a touch. See how it feels. Okay. And then release that leg out and roll it up. And so again, for the hips, truly I have a million, because there's lots of areas. There's the front of the hips that we didn't get to today. That's a whole class, and so I'll definitely teach more about the hips. But I wanted to offer that figure 4. I love that one. I'll bring that into many classes. And so that was number 6, the hips. Number 7, last one. Twisting the body and relaxing. I'm going to put that all into one here. Relaxing can be its own thing, just chilling, relaxing, breath awareness. But a deep twist with relaxation is a really nice way to end, okay? Cleansing the body, letting go of what you don't need. Okay, so here's my twist example today. I'm going to bring both knees in like so. Arms are out to the side in a T shape. Choose a direction and let your knees fall. I'm going to go towards you. Let your knees fall in that direction. Let the feet relax. Make sure your lower back is okay with this. So your arms can be both straight out. Sometimes what I do is I take this hand and gently rest it here, gently drawing that deeper. That could be a possibility. And your head, your eyesight lifts up and turns just a little bit the other way. Stay with that, relax. So the deep breath here in your twist. Ready to take it to the other side. You can lift both legs together, or I like to do one knee and then the other, and then drop it the other way. Settle into it. Relax, letting go. Deepen your breath down into that lower body that is gently twisting. Feel the rise and fall of your breath. And then bring the knees back up. Draw them in close so you really get your spine underneath you. And then roll your way up. So I'm going to take my hands under my legs and use that to roll up. Okay. So that's taking all the 7 steps and introducing them in little ideas along the way. And now I would love to, in future videos, I'm going to make a bunch of short ones for each section. So I think you'll enjoy that. And you can use those, you can fit those into your schedule anytime. So thank you for joining me for the 7 steps to flexibility, or to stretch and relax. And yes, thank you. I will see you next time.